Warning, there are people pretending to be me in the comments. This is what a comment from me looks like. Notice that the name is spelled perfectly, and notice the border around the name. That's how you know it's from me. You can also click on my name to make sure you actually go to my channel to double check. And this is what a comment from an imposter will look like. It has weird characters in the name or comment, and it's usually going to ask you to add them on WhatsApp or Telegram. I don't have WhatsApp or Telegram, and I would never ask you to add me on there. All right, so please be careful, use your common sense, and now let's get back to the video. Hey, how's it going, GPU heads? Thanks for clicking on my video. 𝗚𝗣𝗨𝗦 here. And guys, in this video, I'm going to try my best to answer the question, what is the best GPU to buy for mining in 2022? And to do so, I've teamed up with fellow YouTuber and good friend of mine, 𝗚𝗜𝗡𝗚𝗚𝗚. And together, we are going to try to tackle this question once and for all. We're going to pit all of the currently available GPUs against each other to find out what the best one you can buy is. But before we get into that, I just want to give you some general advice about buying GPUs for mining now in 2022. So let's hop on over and we'll get to that. So in mining, we have the amount of coins that we yield mining every day, right? As well as the daily price in terms of dollar for those coins. And it can be a good idea to understand the difference between those two because, you know, as an example, would you rather mine 1 Ethereum per day when the price of Ethereum is $5,000 or 4 Ethereum per day when the price of Ethereum is only $100? And you might say, well, of course I want to mine the $5,000 in a day, right? But if you think about it, if you mine the 4 Ethereum and then hold on to them and don't sell them and wait for the price of Ethereum to go back up to $5,000, now all of a sudden you mined $20,000 in one day as opposed to $5,000 in a day. And the reason why I bring that up is because we've been in a period now of, well, about a year where mining profitability in terms of dollar value has been really high for a really long time. But we might be going into a time now soon where the amount of profit we're making in terms of dollar value might be going down. Now, of course, no one has a crystal ball, no one can tell the future, we don't know what's gonna happen. But we have some things pointing that way, like the Ethereum merge into proof of stake, as well as coin prices having been on a decline lately. But that doesn't mean that we can't yield just as many coins every day, or maybe even more coins every day. I have a video on why kind of when coin prices go down, yields tend to go up, and you can check that video out over there. I'll leave a link in the description for that video as well. But I bring all of this up because it might be a good idea to go into like GPU purchasing for mining in 2022 with the mindset of how can I make the smartest purchasing decision that lets me yield the most amount of coin during this time, rather than what GPU will make me the most money in the short term, you know, as a like daily profits. And with that attitude in mind, let me give you my 2 tips for buying a GPU for mining in 2022. All right, so my first tip for buying GPUs for mining in 2022 is try to go for GPUs that have the best mining efficiency possible. And what we mean when we say mining efficiency is basically GPUs that use the least amount of electricity for the hash rate that they're getting. So for example, you'd rather have the GPU that does 50 mega hash at 50 watts rather than 100 mega hash at 300 watts, right? Because you'd rather get the 1 watt per mega hash rather than 3 watts per mega hash. And the reason for that is as the dollar profitability of mining, you know, goes down, you want to make sure you keep your electricity cost as low as possible while keeping your coin yield as high as possible. And you do that by having as an efficient mining operation as possible. And I would especially recommend going for GPUs that are efficient on coins other than Ethereum, since Ethereum is supposedly, you know, not going to be mineable anymore at some point in this year. So that's why I recommend going for GPUs that have great efficiency on other coins like Ravencoin or Flux. My second tip is to keep resaleability in mind when buying GPUs for mining in 2022, and that is because you kind of want to have that safety net to fall back on just in case mining becomes completely unprofitable. Now, I don't think that is going to happen, but it can be good to make sure that you can sell your GPUs on to somebody else for, if not as much as you paid for them, then at least as close as possible. And I believe the best way of doing that is to go for current generation gaming GPUs, because I believe those will be the easiest to sell on to somebody else, because you still have gamers and developers and like machine learning people and stuff like that, and they are still gonna want to buy GPUs like that even if mining is completely unprofitable. And so that is why I would recommend going for either the RTX 30 series or GTX 16 series from Nvidia, or the AMD RX 6000 series, because those are all kind of the current, you know, gaming GPU lines, and I believe those will be the easiest to sell on in the future. Now, I know there are some other GPUs with really great mining efficiency, like some of the CMP mining GPUs from Nvidia, or the A2000 and A4000 from Nvidia. But I don't think those GPUs will be very easy to sell on to someone else in case mining profitability, you know, goes down the drain. Just because I don't think many people will be interested in mining GPUs or workstation GPUs in that situation. So that is why I personally am gonna go for current generation gaming GPUs. Alright, so now that we know what to go for and why, let's start talking about which actual GPUs you should be buying for mining in 2022. And if you've been following along on the channel here, you know that I've been thoroughly testing all of Nvidia's current generation GPUs in terms of their mining performance. But of course, there's also the whole AMD side of things. And so that is why I reached out to 𝗚𝗜𝗡𝗚𝗏, who is a fellow YouTuber and nothing short of an AMD mining expert. And he's gonna talk you through what's going on with AMD's current GPUs in terms of their mining performance. And then we're gonna hop back to me, where I'm gonna take that and put that against all of my findings on the Nvidia GPUs. And we're gonna put it all together and see what is the actual best GPU for mining. So let's hop over to 𝗚𝗜𝗡𝗚𝗏 and see what he's found out.
For those of you who don't know me, I am 𝗚𝗜𝗡𝗏𝗚𝗏. I make YouTube content about mining hardware, how to buy GPUs, and other hardware related content. Recently, my man Seb has been cranking out such great Nvidia mining content, and I thought, hey, this is a great opportunity to present some AMD related content. I reached out to my boss, Lisa Sue, and I said, hey, could I clear up some time? She said, who's it for? I said, for Seb 𝗏𝗏𝗚𝗏. She goes, Seb 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏? I love that guy. Take as much time as you need. So today what we're gonna be doing, we're gonna test out the AMD 6000 series. We're gonna test it, we're gonna report out the hash rate, the power usage, and of course, the efficiencies. Let's stop gabbing. Let's get into it. All right, let's go over the testing first. What did we test with? Our test bench includes an Intel 10600K CPU. It has 16 GB of DDR4 Corsair Vengeance Pro RGB, of course, because RGB adds hash rate, 3200 megahertz. I'm using an Asus Prime motherboard H570 Plus, an EVGA 240mm AIO, and it has a EVGA semi-modular gold 650 watt power supply. And for testing, we're using Windows 10, we're not using any BIOS mods, and we're not using additional tools such as Igor's Lab More Power tools. And the reason we're not using these is because we want to do an apples to apples comparison between Nvidia and AMD. Yes, you can easily get better efficiency for the AMD 6000 series by just simply using Hive, which reduces the lower limits, or, as I mentioned, using the more power tools and changing the registry in Windows to allow you to go lower on your power. Disclaimer, your results may vary, and this is due to the silicon lottery. Different chips perform differently. That's just how it is. As for our results from our 6800 XT and the 6900 XT, these are actually researched and pulled from a number of reliable sources. We used Bitsby Trippin', Son of a Tech, Dizzy Mining, Red Panda mining, we used some results from a YouTuber called 𝗠𝗜𝗡𝗚𝗏. We took results from Flux's official site and from Ergo's official site. And just as a note, 𝗠𝗜𝗡𝗏, the YouTuber, he's actually using the more power tools, and that's why his efficiencies will be so much better on the chart, because he was able to lower his bottom limit and keep up most of his hash rate. So that being said, these results do stay quite close to the hash rates of the 6800, and they're at a slightly higher power draw. So the 6800 to 6800 XT and the 6900 XT all perform pretty closely together. So first, let me explain how we have this set up. I have the Ethereum stock, I have the Ethereum max overclock in the middle, and then I have the Ethereum max efficiency. I did this with Ethereum, I did it with Flux, Raven, and Ergo, and I did it with the cards of RX 6600 non-XT, 6600 XT, 6700 XT, 6800. I got the numbers from the 6800 XT, and I researched the numbers for the 6900 XT, and those will be provided on the sources out to the right. Then I give you the hash rate, I give you the power uses, the wattage, I give you the efficiency, which is calculated by taking your hash rate and dividing it by the watts used. Then I give you the settings for these overclocks, the core, the millivolt, and the memory overclockings. And as you can see right here on the screen, that the 6000 series can perform quite efficiently, especially look at that RX 6600 XT, that efficiency. That is some great efficiency, and again, that is without actually pulling the power down as much as you can with Hive or with more power tools. Next, let's quickly touch on Flux. As you can see up in the top right, I've got the table set up the same for each one. So I've got the stock settings, I've got the max hash rates, and then I've got the max efficiency. I have those highlighted for the 6800 XT and the 6900 XT because I wasn't able to get the full numbers, or I didn't get any numbers at all. But again, the 6800 XT and the 6900 XT are right there online with the 6800. They are pretty close in all the hash rates across all the algorithms, maybe with just a little bit less efficiency than the 6800. Moving on, let's take a look at Ergo and Raven. So let's go ahead and look at Ergo next. As you can see, it is, again, pretty efficient. I used on these ones, I have 𝗠𝗜𝗡𝗏, which is a YouTuber. You can look him up. It seems like he has pretty good content. Again, his efficiencies are through the roof because he has used more power tools to actually lower the lower limit again. And next are my Raven numbers, and AMD does solid numbers on Raven, but nowhere near what your Nvidia are going to do. And traditionally, AMD have been a hardcore Ethereum mining king, and it seems like we're still somewhat in that mold, but there is a lot more flexibility with AMD today than there were with the past, say, Polaris generations. So there you have it, hours of testing in the books. Before I turn this over, I just want to say thank you for allowing me into your house. I also want to say thank you to Seb for allowing me to be part of this in-depth testing. And most of all, I want to say thank you to Lisa Su for giving me the time off to complete this project. Let's get back to Seb so he can pull this all together. Make sure to give us a thumbs up. Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Amazing, thank you so much, 𝗠𝗜𝗡𝗏𝗏. And guys, if you haven't already, then please go subscribe to him. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description of this video. He puts out great mining content just like that, so do yourself a favor, go subscribe to him. Now let's jump into the final results here, putting it all together. And I have the spreadsheet up on the computer here. And you can see what we got here is all the GPUs listed like this. The green are the Nvidia GPUs and the red are the AMD GPUs. And you can see I've listed the GPU prices here, and those are the MSRP prices that I could find on places like Best Buy and Micro Center. And so they're the average price I could find for the GPUs there. Now, of course, you're gonna say, well, those aren't the prices that I can find them for. Well, they should all be correct in terms that they are relative to each other. So for example, if prices are 50% more expensive where in the world you are, they will all be 50% more expensive. So all of the rankings here will still be, you know, correct. And of course, whenever I test and review a new GPU here on the channel, I'll be adding the data to this spreadsheet in that video, and we'll be able to compare it to all previous GPUs. So this will be an ongoing sort of list that will grow and grow. And of course, I will link the spreadsheet in the description of this video. And what you can do is you can go to that link, hit like make copy, file make copy, and then you can save it on your own Google account. And then you can make changes to it if you want to change the GPU prices, or if you want to sort it by, you know, different columns here and stuff. So do that if you want to have a really like in-depth look at the list yourself. But yeah, now I'm gonna go through it quickly with you guys to see what we find. So first, let's have a look at Ethereum. We're gonna look at first all of the coins we've tested, so Ethereum, Ravencoin, Ergo, and Flux. And then finally, we're gonna do sort of like overall averages, right? Of course, we got the max hash rate that we can get on the GPUs, as well as the best efficiency we can get on them. I explained efficiency already earlier in the video. And then we also have the like dollars per mega hash. So that is basically how much does it cost per mega hash? How much does the GPU cost per mega hash? So for example, the 1660 here does just below 25 mega hash and costs $390, which means that it costs just above $15 per mega hash on Ethereum. So just having a quick look here, we also have the dollar per mega hash per efficiency. So that is a way to sort of weigh both the dollar per mega hash and efficiency equally between the GPUs, and sort of see what GPU has good in terms of both efficiency and good dollar price per mega hash. So for example, quickly, if we sort by dollar per mega hash, we want that to be as low as possible. We can see on Ethereum, that is the 1660 Super, and on the other end of the spectrum, you got the RX 6900 XT at, well, kind of twice the price per mega hash. And if we sort by efficiency, we want that to be as high as possible. So there you can see the 6600 XT is the most efficient GPU on Ethereum that we've tested. And if we do sort of the combined thing here, which is dollar per mega hash per efficiency, then we want that to be as low as possible. And that is the 1660 Super again. And that is because it is fairly efficient on Ethereum while having a really low dollar per mega hash cost, right? All right, so moving on to Ravencoin and FIRO, which use very similar algorithms. So they basically, the results are the same for both of them. We can see here that if we sort by dollar per mega hash, so cost per hash rate, at the top there we get the 3060 Ti, closely followed by the 3060 and the 3080, both LHR. These are all LHR GPUs because that is what is currently available. So I'm not gonna mix in buying up used full hash rate cards because in my opinion, they are actually not worth it. And I have a video on that if you wanna check that out, that'll be up in the card there. But I'm gonna go with the cards that you can currently actually get your hands on at retail price, right? And so dollar to mega hash wise, we can see those are the top ones. At the bottom, we get the 6800 XT and the 6900 XT. If we move over to efficiency here, we can see sort of at the top, we have the 6600 XT and the 6600, followed by the 3070 LHR and the 3060 LHR. At the bottom, we actually have the 1660 Ti and the 3090. And now if we combine dollar per mega hash by efficiency, we see that on top we actually get the 3060 LHR, followed by the 3060 Ti LHR and the 3080 LHR. Towards the bottom we have the 6800 XT and the 6900 XT. All right, so let's move over to Ergo here. And we can see that if we sort by dollar per mega hash here, we get the 3060 LHR, 3060 Ti LHR and the 3070 LHR at the top, with some of the AMD GPUs towards the bottom. And if we sort by efficiency, we actually see quite a similar picture there with the 3060 LHR still on top at 134% efficiency. And towards the bottom, we actually have the 1660 Ti and the 6700 XT. But if we combine the two, meaning the dollar per mega hash by efficiency, at the top again, we have the 3060 LHR and the 3070 LHR. And towards the bottom, we have the expensive AMD ones with the 6600 XT kind of towards the middle of the bunch here. And then moving over to Flux, now you can see these red cells here are where basically we couldn't find any data for those GPUs mining Flux, unfortunately. But so let's sort again by dollar per mega hash. And yeah, it's kind of the same story as usual. The 3070 LHR, 3060 Ti LHR, 3080 LHR, the 3060 LHR is kind of towards the top there as well, but not as high as usual. And we kind of tend to see a pattern here where those GPUs tend to rank really high in terms of dollar per mega hash, except for on Ethereum, of course, where they are LHR. But then when we sort by efficiency instead, the story changes. Then we start having the 6600 XT and 6600 at the top, because basically those GPUs, they are very efficient, but they're expensive, right? And so that is why we need to weigh, okay, what's more important, efficiency or, you know, price per mega hash? So that is why we have the combined field here, which weighs them both equally. And there we can see kind of towards the top, you get the 3070 LHR, 3080 LHR, 3060 Ti LHR, and so on, right? And towards the bottom, of course, we have the ones where we couldn't even test them. And actually the 3090 is at the bottom there. But now let's move over to the actual most important field, which is the total here. So what I've done is I've put the average dollar per mega hash here, the average efficiency, and the average dollar per mega hash per efficiency. So basically what I've done is I've just taken the average dollar per mega hash, for example, from all of the coins, so all 4 algorithms, and then just divided it by 4 to get an average for the GPUs. And as you can see, I've also color coded it here so that you can see, you know, the greener something is, the better, and yellow is towards the middle, and then the more red it is, the worse it is, basically. So let's start by sorting by the average dollar per mega hash here. And so on all coins, kind of averaged out, you can see the 3060 Ti ends up on top, the LHR one, of course, followed by the 3080 LHR, the 3060 LHR, and the 3070 LHR. And kind of towards the middle, you see the 16 series cards, the 3080 12 gig, and then towards the bottom we have the expensive AMD cards, right, with the 6600 and 6600 XT kind of towards the lower part of the middle here. Of course, things change drastically when we sort by efficiency instead. Then we immediately get the 6600 XT at the top, followed by the 3060 LHR, 3070 LHR, 3070 Ti LHR, and the RX 6600 non-XT, which they are all well above 50% average efficiency, with the 6600 XT almost at 60% average efficiency, which is fantastic. And as you can see, kind of towards the bottom, we have the 1660 Ti, the 3090, and the 3080 12 gig GPU. And combining the average dollar per mega hash with the average efficiency, you can see here we get the 3060 LHR at the top, actually, because as you can see, it's got pretty green values on both average dollar per mega hash and the average efficiency. And as we can see, for example, the 6600 XT, while it is really green on the average efficiency, it's kind of towards the yellowy orange in terms of dollar per mega hash average. And so that is why that ends up kind of towards the middle here. And of course, as I said, the personal choice come in, like, what do you value more? Do you value dollar per mega hash, getting as much hash rate as possible for as little price as possible? Or do you value efficiency as much as possible, or somewhere in between, right? And so we can kind of keep looking here. We see towards the top, when combining the two, the 3060 LHR, 3060 Ti LHR, and the 3080 LHR, closely followed by the 3070 LHR as well. We can kind of see these 4 tends to end up on top a lot, doesn't they? The only time they don't is, of course, when you look at Ethereum, because they are all LHR, so they are going to be both bad efficiency-wise and expensive dollar per mega hash wise, right? But if we keep looking here through the list towards the middle, we kind of see the 1660 series, because while they aren't the most efficient cards ever, they're not terribly inefficient on many algorithms, and they have very cheap dollar per mega hash usually. And kind of a little bit lower in the middle, we see the 6600 XT and the 6600 non-XT, which are both also chilling out kind of towards the middle. And of course at the bottom we have the more expensive GPUs like the 3080 Ti, 3090, and some of the more expensive AMD GPUs, right? But this next column, to me, is the one that would matter the most buying a GPU in 2022, right? Because Ethereum mining is supposed to come to an end this year. And if we're looking long term, then we shouldn't care that much about Ethereum mining performance. We should care more about other coins like Ravencoin, Flux, Ergo, right? So what I've done here is I've done the averages. I've just excluded Ethereum from the equation. And what's interesting is that it kind of changes things up a lot. So let's have a look at the average dollar per mega hash again. And as we can see, we get the 3060 Ti, 3080 LHR, 3060 LHR, and the 3070 LHR, kind of all towards the top there. So no surprise, they are very cheap in terms of the hash rate you get, especially when you exclude Ethereum, where they are all LHR, right? And so moving down the list, we see the 16 series towards the middle, kind of the 6600 and 6700 XT actually towards the lower bit of the middle here, and the 3090 and the more expensive AMD GPUs towards the bottom here. But let's sort by efficiency. So this is efficiency excluding Ethereum mining. And then we can see kind of what we've been seeing, but a little bit different, because the 6600 XT is actually knocked off the top spot there. It's down to 60% average efficiency, while at the top we have the 3060 LHR at an average efficiency of over 63%, which is really fantastic. Closely followed by the 3070 and the 3070 Ti. We can see there our top 4 GPUs or so are all very, very good average efficiency. And then towards the middle we see kind of the 6600 non-XT, we have the 1660 Super down there, 3080 Ti kind of in there. And towards the bottom we have the 1660 Ti and the kind of more expensive AMD GPUs. And now the column to rule them all, right? The average dollar per mega hash per efficiency. So let's sort by that, and then we kind of get a good picture. Now, do keep in mind, this weighs the dollar per mega hash and efficiency equally. And you might not be of that mindset. You might weigh efficiency a lot higher than dollar per mega hash. So just keep that in mind. But as we can see here towards the top, we have a clear winner, which is the 3060 LHR. And that is just because it has really great average efficiency on most coins, except for the Ethereum, of course. And it is really cheap. You get a lot of hash rate for its price. So we can see that coming in. That is the only one at $20, at $20.78. As in terms of average dollar per mega hash per efficiency. And it's closely followed by the 3060 Ti LHR, the 3080 LHR, and the 3070 LHR. And moving down the list here, we kind of see the 1660 Super towards the middle, the regular 1660, got the 3080 Ti there, and kind of lower part of the middle we have the 6600 XT and the 6600 non-XT, chilling out at around $38 per mega hash per efficiency, right? And kind of lower down we see, of course, the 3090 and the more expensive AMD GPUs. And again, that isn't because they're bad mining GPUs, it is just because they are expensive mostly. And for some of them it is also because they aren't very efficient. So for the 3090, for example, is quite a lot less efficient than, say, the 3070, except for on Ethereum, of course, because the 3090 is not LHR. But there you have it, guys. I would definitely recommend you go check out this spreadsheet yourself. fill in your own prices if you choose, sort by different things, and also have a real think about what you as a miner going into 2022 value the most. Is it efficiency, or is it just getting the most hash rate you can for the money you purchase your GPUs for? Alright, if you enjoyed this video, then please give it one of these. I'd really appreciate it. And what you gotta do now is you gotta click on that next video on the screen, because this video is over. You can also click the picture on my face to subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate that. But yeah, go click on that next video and I'll see you there. Goodbye. Goodbye, bye bye.